Hello everyone, this is GMX and welcome back to the Road to Civ 6 Deity, a series where we're going to be covering the basics of Civ 6 so you can work your way up in difficulty settings all the way to the Deity setting. In this episode, we will be discussing what you should be doing within the first 20 turns of your game. In the previous episode, up in the card above, we discussed how to settle your first city. Now we'll be talking about what to do the turns after settling your first city. The first thing you're going to want to select is your production. In this, you can either choose a district or a building, or a list of units. Monuments give you +1 loyalty, as well as +1 culture, and an additional +1 culture if your city is at full loyalty. For units, you can select a builder, a scout, a warrior, or a slinger. Builders are non-combative units that help build improvements in your empire. Scouts are weak military units that have a high mobility. Warriors have a low mobility but have a high combat strength. Slingers are also low mobility but have the advantage of being a ranged attacker. For your first production, I would highly recommend the Scout, and the reason we are selecting it is because we want to explore the map as quick as possible. The reason we want to explore the map quickly is to meet city-states, other AI, as well as finding barbarian encampments and tribal villages, also referred to as goody huts. Also a quick tip as a reminder to make sure you're working your highest production and food tiles. In this instance, a 2 food, 2 production tile is perfect. Next, we want to choose our first research. In the research tree, we can select pottery, animal husbandry, mining, sailing, or astrology. For both sailing and astrology, these technologies are broken up into columns, with these columns have progressively higher turn counters and are based upon the science you produce. As you can see from here, both the sailing and astrology technologies take 20 turns complete, where the pottery, animal husbandry, and mining only take 10 turns to complete. With that being said, I would highly recommend either getting pottery, animal husbandry, or mining. The only instance where I would go for a second column technology is if I am rushing for a religion, in which I would need the astrology technology. In this video, we will not be covering how to get a religion, but be sure to subscribe for a future video in which we'll cover how to secure a religion on the deity setting. When selecting between pottery, animal husbandry, and mining, you want to look at your yields as well as the terrain around your city. Do you have a bunch of hills? Or do you have a bunch of woods around you? These are both things that can be utilized using the mining technology. Additionally, resources such as stone, diamonds, marble, and silver all require either mines or a quarry to be improved. The mining technology can get these improvements for you. Additionally, mines can only be built on hills, so if you have a lot of these in your empire, the mining selection might be right for you. For animal husbandry, you unlock pastures, camps, and allows you the ability to harvest cattle, sheep, and deer. The pottery technology gives you access to a granary, which gives you +1 food and +2 housing, and is a building that can be built in your city. The Great Bath, which is a wonder which helps mitigate floods on floodplain tiles. For each flood damage that is mitigated, you will gain +1 faith in that city. You also get +3 housing and +1 amenities for entertainment from this wonder. Pottery also allows you to harvest bonus resources that are improved by farms. This includes things like maize, wheat, and rice. You might want to select animal husbandry if you have a lot of cattle, sheep, or if you have a lot of plains around you. Horses typically spawn around flat tiles. Since horses are a strategic resource, it's sometimes nice to get this early on so that you can sell to the other AI for some gold. Additionally, you can use those horses to create horsemen later on for an early war. For pottery, if you have a bunch of bonus resources that are improved by farms, this might be the technology for you. Each one of these technologies does unique improvements and can dictate the first 20 turns of your game. I would highly recommend either the animal husbandry or mining techs. While pottery is fantastic early game and helping you grow your cities, both animal husbandry and mining allow you the ability to get production as well as chop resources and uncover early strategic resources. Additionally, animal husbandry has the bonus of getting to the archery technology, as you can see by the dotted line indicated here. Archers are great ranged units that are upgrades from the slinger. A already built slinger would only cost 60 gold to improve all the way up to an archer, in which you will get bonus range strength and bonus melee strength, while keeping the same movement. These units are great against defending against barbarians as well as other AI units, so getting them up quick against an aggressive AI or a mass of our barbarians is a great strategy. Additionally, for the mining technology, you have either masonry, bronzeworking, or the wheel. While masonry is good for getting up things like ancient walls, the ability to build the pyramids, or having things like battering rams if you are going to an early war, there's also things such as bronzeworking, which gives you access to the encampment, which is a military district that gives you great general points per turn. It also unlocks the spearmen, uncovers the strategic resources of iron, and allows you to chop rainforests. Lastly, the wheel will give you access to the watermill and the heavy chariot. Masonry, bronzeworking, and the wheel might be important if you're trying to go for an early war, or if the AI is going to war with you. First off, we want to find the position of our city on the map. The best way to do this is to look at the fog of war around your city. This would be looking to the north and to the south as far as you can. What we're looking for is a dotted border, as seen at the bottom of the screen here, to indicate the bottom of the map. This would appear on the top of the map as well. To rotate your camera, press and hold the Alt button, and then click down with your left mouse button and rotate your camera. You can then see your world from a different angle. Additionally, pins can be used as a small exploit to be able to see around the map. If you place the pin at the edge of your vision, that pin then becomes the center of your next camera, so you can keep moving it up or down as much as possible. This will give you your north-south location on the map. From here, my best suggestion is to do a wide sweep around your city. If you are at the bottom of the map, such as in my case, I will want to do a sweep of the north around my city. We know that there's tundra to our south, and it's highly unlikely that any civs have started at the very bottom. Exceptions to this can be either Canada or Russia, as they tend to spawn in tundra tiles. Additionally, you want to be aware of tundra. Barbarians tend to spawn in tundra areas. I would highly recommend a good 10 to 15 tile radius around your city is explored at the beginning of the game. This is a good tile distance to still keep your warrior close if needed. As you can see here, we met a city-state very early on. If you notice, there's on the right-hand side a little dome with a notification on it. This means that we were the first city to meet this city-state. The bonus for meeting a city-state first is that you are awarded one free envoy to that city-state. This is highly beneficial as it allows you to get an extra bonus to one of your yields. In this case, we met Geneva, and they are a scientific city-state. This allows us to get +1 science in our capital from having one envoy with them. Additionally, you'll want to take a look at their suzerainty bonus, as well as their quest to see if it's an easy task for you to do as you are building your empire. This is a really lucky start where we also met Bandar Brunei. Again, you can see the notifications on the right-hand side that indicate that we are also the first to meet them. We get +2 gold in the capital for every turn. Again, be sure to check their suzerain bonus and the quest to get additional envoys. Now, like we discussed before, the tundra tiles have spawned us barbarians to our south. Immediately what we'll want to do is go ahead and send back our warrior to defend our capital. Fortunately, barbarians cannot overtake and destroy a player's capital. However, they can take any of your other cities. Additionally, on higher settings, barbarians will have a higher combat strength against you. Now that we've explored to our northwest, we'll now explore to our northeast with our scout. For our next unit, we're going to select a slinger. The reason we want to select a slinger is because slingers are very great at defending territory. Slingers are important to get up in the early game so that you can get a boost for archery. The requirement to boost archery or getting a Eureka for archery is to kill a unit with a slinger. So I would select this as your second production in your city. Continue to scout with your scout as well as potentially your warrior if you did not come in contact with barbarians. And as we are scouting, what we will want to do is look for your next city locations. Once we get our basic units out of the way, we will want to expand our empire. Be sure to use my previous guide on how to settle your first city to then analyze your second city locations. Be sure to subscribe as I will be making follow-up videos for settling your second cities and on. But the thing to note here is looking for 4 yield tiles as well as tiles to expand to. After finishing your first technology, go ahead and select your second one. I would still recommend either doing animal husbandry, pottery, or mining in this second technology. And in my case, as I have plains around me, I will be going for animal husbandry. Now, I've just got a notification on the right-hand side that a barbarian outpost has been discovered. These will pop up if a barbarian encampment spawns within your viewing range. As you can see, it is up to the northeast of my city. Now I have a difficult choice to make. My warrior is in my capital and defending against barbarians from the south. Do I go ahead and attack the barbarians to the northeast while risking a flank from the other barbarians, or do I go ahead and take this encampment? Looking at the terrain around me, I notice that I have hills to my south, and I have flat land up to my north. The hills to my south are going to make it more difficult for the barbarians to move, and so I am probably more free to go ahead and attack the barbarians to the northeast. I'm not going to go fully into depth into terrain and battle advantages here, but just note that the more difficult terrain, the more movement cost it takes to move through that terrain. Therefore, moving to the northeast with my warrior costs a lot less than moving my warrior to the south. When scouting around, you might encounter some borders on the edge of your fog of war. To denote whether this is an AI or a city-state AI, you will be able to tell by the border color and the thickness of the border. A double line with an inner and outer line is going to be AAI. A thin, single dotted line with a single color is going to be representative of a city-state. It is important once you meet your first AI to go ahead and send a delegation to them. If you have 25 gold, you can send a delegation to an AI, and this will help improve relations in the early game. You can send a delegation to the AI by selecting their icon in the upper right-hand corner and selecting the Send Delegation button, which costs 25 gold. This will help improve your diplomacy with that AI, as you can see here in the Relations tab, which is represented by a heart in this intel report. This relationship report will tell you if the AI likes you, or if you might be needing to gear up for war. A quick tip for improving relationships with AIs is to actually send them gifts of either gold, diplomacy, or strategic resources. This will improve your relationship with the AI, as you can see on the Relationships tab. These gifts will range from +1 all the way up to +10, and is dependent on how much you send to that AI and their current relationship status with you. Their current status will be represented in the upper right-hand corner on the AI's profile picture. It will have an emoji of either a frowny face, a very, very frowny face, a smiley face, an exuberantly smiley face, or an ally flag. Additionally, it could have no emoji, meaning they are net neutral with you. Again, stay tuned for later episodes of this series to have all these explained to you. A good way to check whether an AI is aggressive or it goes for a certain win condition, go ahead and open the Civipedia and type in the name of that AI. In terms of Basile II, he is a more religious and military tactics for either a domination or religious victory. Alternatively, you can type in the culture. This will tell you all the unique abilities of that civilization. Continuing to scout along with your scouts, warriors, and slingers, you might find things called goody huts or tribal villages. These are little villages that are darted around the map at random that either the AI or yourself can pick up, and they will give you bonuses. These bonuses can range from faith, relics, governor titles, gold, envoys for city-states, or tech and civic boosts. Additionally, they can grant either free builders or scouts, so getting them early on in your game really helps out with your early civilization. With this tribal village, I got a free envoy that I can then send to a city-state. Now, since I already have one envoy with each of the city-states near me, I am actually going to hold this envoy. The reason for this is because I already have one envoy with each, which is earning me a bonus. I do not get bonuses from getting 2 envoys with either one. I would get bonuses if I had 3 envoys with each one. Therefore, I'm going to hold this envoy by clicking the X in the upper right-hand corner in case I meet another city-state that then has 0 envoys, then I can immediately plug that one free envoy into that next city-state. This is kind of holding for the future to ensure that I still get bonuses from meeting those city-states if I am not the first to meet them. Because if you remember, when you are the first person to meet a city-state, you get a free envoy. Next, I need to select my next unit. In this scenario, I know I have a barbarian encampment to my northeast, as well as a scout of a barbarian encampment to my south. Due to the high likelihood of more barbarians coming, I'm going to prepare more combat units. In this instance, I'm going to choose another slinger. This is because slingers are good at holding down territory, such as districts or across rivers. Additionally, I'm keeping in mind that Basile II is a militaristic AI. They very well might come and declare war on me. Getting these extra early units helps ensure that I have the correct defenses to defend against an early war. Alternatively, if you did not meet barbarians and you did not meet a militaristic AI, it might be worth it to either go for a settler or another scout. These settlers, they could then quickly expand your empire, and the next scout could help you even explore more of the territory around you. This would allow you to meet more city-states, gain more envoys, as well as potentially get more tribal villages or goody huts to get more bonuses for your empire. Additionally, you could go for a builder if you have a lot of resources around you, as those resources tend to have higher yields and will jumpstart your empire. Just be cautious to make sure that you have already unlocked the technology for your builder. Getting a builder early and not being able to make your improvements, as you will be waiting for your technologies to uncover, and your builder will just be sitting around idle without any use. Towards the end of the 20 turns that we are covering, you will probably unlock Code of Laws. Code of Laws is the first civic you unlock in the game and will allow you to choose some policy cards. These policy cards include Discipline, Survey, God King, and Urban Planning. You will have to select either military or economic policies, and they are indicated by colors as seen. Red will be a military policy and economics will be a green. For military policies, I would go ahead and select Discipline if you have barbarians around you, and if you ended up going for a second scout, go ahead and pick up Survey. In terms of economic policies, I would go ahead and select God King. While Urban Planning is nice to get that extra production, you will need to generate 25 faith in order to get a Pantheon. Pantheons are very critical in the early game, as they can drastically change how you build your empire. I will not be covering which Pantheons to select in this video, but stay tuned for that episode. After selecting your policy cards, you will have to select your next civic. You can either select Craftsman or Foreign Trade. Foreign Trade is great for getting up things like trade routes, the formation of joint wars, as well as unlocking 2 extra policy cards. Craftsman, on the other hand, only unlocks 2 policy cards, this one being Agog and Ilka. While it might seem that foreign trade is the way to go as you unlock more things, it is important to note the Agog card makes it a lot quicker to produce both your melee, anti-cavalry, and ranged units. Seeing as this is early on in the game, these are the only units that you can actually build, so getting a bonus production to them is very helpful in the early game. Additionally, you will want to look at the third column of civics to determine what you want to be going for in your empire. Do you want to be going for military tradition, which grants flanking and support combat bonuses to all combat units, also unlocks Great General points per turn, and the maneuver, which you can start building cavalry units quicker? Or do you want to go for state workforce to get your government plaza up quicker? Additionally, you can go for early empire to get your open borders up, or secure early settlers. Lastly, you could choose mysticism, which gives you ability to get inspiration for great scientists, great prophets, or complete the oracle wonder. In terms of selecting your third column civic, military tradition is great if a bunch of barbarians or aggressive AIs are surrounding you. State workforce or early empire are great if you are trying to expand your empire as quickly as possible. And mysticism is great if you are going for either a religion or to quickly build the oracle. And now we have our second slinger completed. We want to look at the next choice we want to make. Should we get a builder to improve our empire, get more units to defend against the barbarians or the AI, or should we go for a settler to expand our empire? I could get either a builder or a settler in my capital. Getting a builder would net me building mines on these hill tiles or improving the honey. Alternatively, if I get a settler, I can go ahead and settle that spot that we had scouted earlier. In settling this, we can ensure that Basile II will not take this land from us, and we can secure this land for ourselves. This is important because each one of our cities, Basile's and mine, will grow to a 3-tile radius, meaning that we want to steal as much land from them as possible and secure the good tiles for ourselves. As you can see from this city center, I would grab the cotton, the stone, the rice, as well as more maize, additional stone, and potentially the bananas if I grow quick enough. And by turn 20, you should have 3 or 4 units up, as well as either a settler or a builder. And into the addition to that, you should almost have all 3 of your technologies unlocked. I hope this build guide has helped you understand the first 20 turns of your game and may help you get to the higher difficulties on Civ 6. If you have any questions about specific things I did in the video, be sure to comment down below. If you have any suggestions for future videos, go ahead and leave those down in the comment below as well. Lastly, be sure to like and subscribe. Liking the video will help this push to other Civ 6 players and help them better their gameplay as well. And with that, we're going to end today's episode. Thank you all for watching. I'm GMX. This is the road to Civ 6 Deity, and you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.